Hello and welcome to another episode of Reseller Information Network. We are on episode 78, guys.
Ooh,
We're getting old, man. We're past retirement age. We're waiting on that check.
I'm going to be honest with you. I saw that and I said to myself, I feel like we're on 300 episodes.
We got it. Well, we didn't count the first 2 years of us together before we actually became a show, a non-podcast show that we are. We decided against including Reseller Information Network podcasts. We figured network was all encompassing. We're both audio, video, in live person, live show kind of thing. So, at any rate, when we get into today's show, we do apologize for this past week. We did skip a week of episode. Honestly, life, guys. We have guys traveling to California. We got some little league stuff going on. I'm doing construction like a young guy. I'm going to take a bunch of back medication. But yeah, so a lot going on.
Sounds about 78, huh?
I know, right? 78 is not treating us right. But anyway, we're here. We're back. And we do have an excited episode for you guys today. Guys, we want to talk about, is it myth? Is there truth to it? Summer slowdown. Summer slowdown. We're going to be talking about that and a lot more, like what can you do to help in the summer? You know, kind of like the weatherman when he gets on there and he says, hey, guys, the heat is coming. Summer's coming. Make sure you get your sunscreen. We're going to be talking about that kind of stuff. What do you do as a reseller? How do you get better at making it through summer, not just enduring, but prospering? So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. But we do want to jump into some comments that you guys left us. We don't always appreciate those that you guys would leave us comments. MSG's treasurer said, remember these 3 words and you'll do all right. Profits, not projects. I think we coined that phrase about 3 years ago. We'll put the little R circle behind it.
Registered trademark.
Yeah. Thank you. Mikey says, isn't a reseller just one notch above a hoarder? Wow, Mikey. Tell us how you really feel. No, I can see where you're coming from with that. The point is to sell it, not keep it.
Yes.
AsCat Sue says, I'm all of these things. FOMO is real. I have a storage locker with wheels, and I have a plan, but stink at execution. In talking about us becoming better resellers, we all have room for improvement, absolutely. And none of us have arrived, if you want to make it about that. Mr. Norman, guys, sellers need to join together on the feedback non-removal. I'm assuming he's talking about on eBay, how there is feedback non-removal. I would, we'll touch on that. We'll dig into that before we get too deep in other things. A lot of great things to think about here by Vintage Sports Flips. To become a better reseller, I've been trying to avoid projects too, although I have so many already laying around. Yeah, it's true. Doing it wrong says, as a vintage picker, most community garage sales are a hot, wet garbage. Agreed. The ones that usually shine are the retirement communities. Grandma moved in and realized she doesn't have space for the 20 boxes of dishes and glassware from the 50s. They're the best. Sounds like your cup of tea there, Tim.
That's what if it was only as good as it sounds.
That's when the clouds open up and you just see the rainbow come over the house.
Yeah, listen, I went to a couple of those this weekend and they were not there.
They're pot of gold.
The kids are taking them now from their grandparents because the youngins are getting into the glass now.
All right, let's talk a little sidebar. This isn't the context of the show. eBay feedback. How, on your scale of importance, is that the thing that's holding you back as a reseller?
What do you mean?
Okay, you have a 99.4.
Oh, I mean, I'm at 100. I stay at 100.
No,
I don't think the feedback I don't think it's that important. I think we see it and it bugs us, when we get a negative feedback. But I don't know if it's that important because I've seen some very big brands, be at, 98.9%. You know what I'm saying? A whole percentage down. So it's one of those things. I can't. The only time I can see it being an issue is with kind of like part-time sellers or like slower sellers. Because if you have, if you've sold 10 items, all right, and you got, just say averages, you get 5 feedbacks, or you get, say you get 4 feedbacks, okay, from those 10 items you sold because you're a new reseller, and one of those is negative. Now you have a 75%, now that could be pretty bad. But I think when, I just think that we, everybody, myself included, gets all wrapped up in like, oh, negative feedback, I got to call and I got to do that, I always say this, go ahead and do that. Just don't stress yourself out so much that it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? That takes up your whole day and everything. But, because here's the thing, yeah, you get one, if you do get one, you're like, whatever. Well, what happens if you get another one and another one and another one? You know what I'm saying? Then so it's like, take care of it and see what you can do. Try to resolve it, because I think negative feedback comes down to a couple of items. What kind of customer service was provided? What kind of communication was provided? And did you, as the seller, try to help resolve the issue that led to the negative feedback? Now, I know there's sometimes, like out of nowhere, you're just like, oh, I got a negative feedback, and you're like, oh, I wish I would have said something. That's a perfect opportunity for you as a business, as a reseller, as a customer service person, to reach out to that person to see how you can fix the issue. It might not be an issue with you, might be just an issue with that. It comes down to a lot of factors. So, like I said, don't let it consume you, but take care of it.
Yeah, for me, I'll just tell you, I do have negative feedback. I actually have 2 of them right now. One which, this is just a little heads up. The guy messaged me. I refunded him his money, right? Here's a problem. I called in. I said, hey, can I get this removed? No, because you didn't require him to follow eBay policy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that.
So there you go. I was very proactive. I took the initiative and said, hey, my bad. Here you go. Here's your money back. And now I can't get it removed. Message the buyer. I refunded your money. Appreciate it. Crickets. So that it does happen. For me, one of the things that I have learned as a reseller is next, right? Next. Hey, you can't do anything about things sometimes. It's beyond your control. You do what you can, and then you move on. Because if you dwell on it, it's just going to make you mad. It's just going to ruin your day. It's just going to cause, like a snowball effect going on. So
here's the thing too. I learned a tip from a good friend. If there's an issue before you ship the item, say you can't find it, or it's messed up, or it's broken, please reach out to the customer. Okay? Here's the thing, and I know a lot of people hate it, but eBay, I don't know if they require, but eBay has them put their phone numbers down. So if they purchase something, you can see their phone number. Okay? Now, I know a lot of y'all, if you're an introvert type, you're like, Chris, there is no way I would ever do that. But again, this is our business, and I treat mine like a business, where it's like, if I've got an issue or they have an issue, I'll straight up call them. Hey, this is Chris. You purchased something from the eBay. blah, blah, blah. Let them know. And I'm telling you, if you have someone that's like writing you back and forth going, oh, this, that, blah, 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 yada, yada, to call them. See how calm they are when you call them. Okay. It works. I have gotten out of a lot of jams by just straight up calling them and taking care. Like when you boil it down to just the minuteness of it, the minutia of it, it's basically human interaction, coming to an agreement, exchanging money, and being happy about their purchase. That's what we do. So anything that we can do along the way to facilitate the end user being happy, that's what we're here for.
There you go. All right, so that's bonus round, guys.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're going to go ahead and dive into summer slowdown, guys. So when we think, if you as a reseller, we've all heard the term, we've all heard people, I mean, Lord, if you go into Facebook groups, the sky falls every day. If you read comments and videos, the sky falls every day. Summer slowdown, like what do you guys think that's about? Like, what's the history of that, sir? Not.
There is like now if you look, if you've been doing this a while, there is a little slump. If you keep just going, it's like this. Here's your graph. January to December. Okay. January, you're good. Okay. February, March, April. March and April are pretty good. Okay. May, and then June, July, it starts coming down a little bit. June, July, August, September, it starts coming back up. October, November, December, and then you're back to January. So it's not like a boom, but it is a little dip. And just like Q4 is a little hit, Q4 is never to the moon, but Q4 it's like, okay, we got a little. This is nice. Okay, invert Q4. Okay, like the last couple of years of Q4 has not been the world on fire. I can take off all of January and February because I made so much during November and December. It's not like that. Okay, but just inverse what the sales, the extra sales you did get, and inverse that with the summer, and those are maybe sales you don't get during the summer. Okay, if that makes sense. To me, it's not a big deal, but we'll get into that in a minute. But that's how I think about summer slowdown. Now you're going to hear the people going, "Oh, well, people are going on vacations and this and that." Yeah. It's the economy. It's the economy. I'm still selling $600 shirts, so that's not really true. And so it's all these things where it's like people love to make excuses. Okay, people love to make excuses, so they'll find anything. They'll say, they're vacationing. They're spending all their money on vacation. Are they?
Yeah.
They're still buying. But here's the thing: they're still buying from Amazon every single week. So, okay. So miss me with all the kind of like the, this doom and gloom economy, this and that. People are still selling. Okay, people are still selling. It's just not. I'll say this. It's just not as consistent as the months before or Q4, and that's why I think people have that mentality of, it is summer slowdown, and they didn't take the advice that we gave them beforehand to load up on listings. Take this time right now during the spring. Take April and May and load up your listings. January, February, March, when it's all cold and rainy still, stay at home, list. So when we get to May, you've got an abundance of listings or abundance of drafts that you can fire off whenever you want. And then you can go yard selling because you've done your job at the beginning. But I think a lot of people just
you're already getting into two now.
Yeah, okay. So that's my summer slowdown. I'll go on.
He's rolling into 2 already, Tim. Like,
Sorry.
what's going on?
I told you that these were going to transition very well into each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to really say anything else that Cernock didn't just say. I mean, first and foremost, I thought it would be important because at one point, you know, a lot of people that watch us are like us. A lot of people that watch us are a little bit, you know, have been doing this a little bit less than us. And there's a lot of people that are watching us that may just be starting out and reselling. And I think that you know, we talk about this so much because we don't want people to make the same mistakes that we've made, right? And I think that
or we don't want them to use bad information.
Yeah, exactly.
People, you know.
And I think that a lot of people try to tell you, they're trying to tell you how to do things that they never say that they did them this way wrong. And that's why they're telling you not to do things. That's why they're telling you about these things. For me, when I first started, I was fortunate to where I never fell into a summer slowdown, because when I started out reselling, I started out selling on Etsy. So like, I didn't know what everybody was talking about when they were talking about summer slowdown. So I just, and the other thing is too, is like, it's the same thing with Q4. Like I've never really like had Q4 look like I'm a very even keel seller, right? Yeah. So like I don't really have a lot of monthly up and downs. I have a lot of daily and weekly up and downs, but generally my graph is pretty even. Like I don't experience a very large increase in Q4 and a decrease in summer. Now there are, like Cernock said, mine is not as maybe as drastic, but as Cernock said, there's going to be a little bit of this, right? For me, it's not as much. And this is something that we're going to talk about moving forward here in this show, is things that we do during these time of the summer to make sure that we don't experience this summer slowdown. But I think one of the biggest things that Cernock said is it's excuses, right? And it's you don't need to give yourself, there's as many different ways that this is an excuse. You don't need to give yourself an excuse to go sourcing, okay? Because I think a lot of people are like,
yes, you do. Yes, you do. I do that all the time. Bro, it's hot outside. Let's go sourcing. Bro, it's raining. Let's go sourcing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You don't need to do that. Just
go to the vibe today. Let's go sourcing.
Just go sourcing. You don't need an excuse. You don't need to be like, oh, I'm not selling anything. You know, like for me, I'm run out of stuff because I do a lot of live selling. You know, and that's something I'm going to talk about here momentarily. But I think the summer slowdown is a brainwash. It's a brainwash that people have given you, specifically content creators in this industry. They brainwash you so they can recycle that content every single summer. And people will watch it every single summer. And then they're going to go and they're going to tell everybody else, oh, well, you know, the summer slowdown. And I mean, Cernock touched on all of it. The economy, get out of here with that economy business, okay? Like, we're not Walmart. We're not Safeway. We're not, you know, like, the economy doesn't really affect us unless it's, like, affecting everybody, okay? Like, we're not at that point right now where, you know, like, it's not the Cold War. You know, you guys are going to be okay. I promise. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just, my experience is that you're always going to get back what you put in. Okay. So it's not about the people who are buying that are taking vacations. It's about you taking a vacation. Okay. I'm not saying don't take a vacation, but like Cernock said, did you prepare yourself for taking a vacation? As a full-time reseller, part-time reselling is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure summer slowdown doesn't hit the same way, but like, listen, if you're out here selling, you know, $5 CDs with free shipping and summer rolls around and you're not, you know, cranking them out, that's a you problem. That's not a summer slowdown problem. So I personally don't think that summer slowdown exists at all. I think it's a I always butcher this saying. It's a figment of your imagination. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
So yeah, that's how I feel about. That's my history of Summer Slowdown. Is that I was initially fear-mongered into believing it, and then after like doing it for so long, realizing that I don't really know what a Summer Slowdown is. And I think people look so much in the day to day.
Oh,
That's what really messes people up. They're like, I didn't sell anything today, dude. I don't sell things on a day basis all the time. Like when I hear people freak out, like, oh my god, I went a day without selling something. I'm like, dude, that happens to me all the time. You know, like I'm a full-time reseller. It's okay not to sell something every day. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, as we move into the next topic here, you'll know why it's okay for me not to sell things on a day-to-day basis.
There you go. So for me, Summer Slowdown, the first time I heard that is when I started watching YouTube, to be honest, because I live in a touristy area. There is nothing slow about summer where I live. Like nothing slow. In fact, it's like 10x, 100x. Like I literally, I would be a very wealthy man if I could collect a penny off everybody that crosses one of these bridges to come out here to the island. Cause like, hey, in the summertime alone, like you would need a Brinks truck to haul that stuff away. So I weren't really familiar with that. Like, and honestly, guys, I used to work retail here. I worked for the bread company. I delivered bread. Like summer for us was not slow down. Winter was slow down. But so when coming into reselling, so for me, it was pre-COVID. But honestly, my first summer was like things were starting to go nuts. Like, I mean, there was no slowdown. Like it was just gas is all it was. Like everything was, you know, what if you list it and it's quality, somebody needs it. Like they're buying it. But so for me, I never really got that. And same as like what Tim's saying, like Q4 for me is, I've never really seen it like that. Like, I mean, my first year, same thing. Like, think of the winter of COVID year, right? Like everybody's, dude, you can sell dirt off the carpet. Like, I mean, it's people are like, they're buying whatever. Like they just buying stuff online. That's the only way to do it. I'm trapped in my house. I've got like 20 hours a day. I can look at the internet to see what I want next or what I need or what I can't get or they're out of this. So for me, like when I hear those things, like, oh, be careful, summer slowdown. Like depending on where you live, too, like it could be different for you. Yeah, it could be that summer is a time of being slow because everybody evacuates the frozen tundra and they're going out elsewhere. But we sell online. Like online is available to everybody 24/7. Like there's a very small fragment of the country that doesn't know what an app is, right? Like, and doesn't know how to use it and doesn't know, hey, if I'm shopping for this, Google is on every device on demand almost. If you type in hey, I'm looking for a Polaroid t-shirt, you're going to find it. And it may be on eBay and it may be on One Stop Shop and it may be on Etsy or, you know, so like the whole idea of slow down, is it real? It for me, I think it really depends on what you sell, to be honest. Dude, if you're selling down jackets, yeah, you're probably going to experience a slowdown come summer. Like, you're probably not going to have, but if you're just selling everything like most folks that we know, it balances out to a degree. Like your highs and lows aren't as high and low. They're a little bit more balanced, is what I would say. So don't be afraid if you hear someone say summer slowdown. That's what it is. You know, we did an episode last time we recorded, and we talked a lot about if you're experiencing slowdown, you know, it could be the guy in the mirror that's you know, helping the slowdown cause by some of the actions that we're doing. So we are going to get in. I know these guys have already touched on it a bit, and I try not to get too deep into it. So how do you prevent it? If it is real to you, how do you prevent it from happening? And what are some things that you've learned along the way? You're like, look, this is how you combat any slowdown, not the summer slowdown. This is how you keep throwing coal in the engine to get us moving, right? And we'll dive back in. Tim, I'll give you first up.
So I think it's almost like a reverse like way of doing things. Okay, so I think some people are so fixated on Q4 that they're like, I'm going to spend all of my summer and all my spring and summer buying to sell in Q4, right? But in reality, you should be buying to sell all the time. Okay, don't just buy stuff and like create this pile of things to sell in Q4 because you've been brainwashed to think that Q4 is the only time that things sell all the time, right? So like if you go yard selling in May on May 25th, you should be listing on May 26th, 27th, 28th. Okay? Don't go sourcing and not go listing during the summer, which is what a lot of people do because they're like, I gotta go to yard sales, and they're like, and you're not listing. So yeah, you're not going to sell anything. You got to be listing at all times. That's how it is always going to be. There's no magical number. There's no how many items do you list a day, Tim? I'm like, I don't know. It depends on how my day is going. Okay, so it's just like, but don't let it accumulate to the point where you have a mountain of things to list and you haven't listed for 3 weeks, and then complain that things aren't selling. Right. And then, it's the age old motto here in Reseller Information Network. Don't buy junk. If you're buying junk, you're not going to sell junk in summer. You're not going to sell junk in spring, fall, or winter. OK, so don't complain about not selling things if you're selling things that don't sell, because that's what a lot of people who are complaining are doing. Another thing is I think it's also important to open up your options, okay? Like, I'm not saying that everybody has to do this or that everybody should do this, but you should at least try to do this, and that is live selling. I'm not asking you to go on Whatnot and sell things for $1 that you paid $10 for. I'm not asking you to do that, but I am asking you to check out the link in the description below to One Stop Shop, where we will give you an opportunity to learn how to live sell under us professionals who have been live selling for years. Because a lot of times, sometimes things are easier to sell to somebody when you're talking directly to them as opposed to just putting up a picture and a title. That's just a fact that I've learned over the years of reselling. So opening up your options to live selling. And then, lastly, I think is, there are two more things, right? So one thing is it's a mentality, like Cernock talked about this a little bit. I just talked about it a little bit. You have to have a mentality that there is no such thing as summer slowdown. Subconsciously, if you have been reading Facebook, like a lot of times I see like these Facebook groups and Instagram posts and stuff like that, where it's almost like it's the content of the post is recycled from one seller to another. Where it's like, are you saying that because you're experiencing it, or are you saying it because you've read it in somebody else's post, or you heard somebody else say it on a YouTube video? Like subconsciously, you take the way that you digest information is so important. So it's like you have to have this mental state that there is no such thing as summer slowdown. Sales will happen based upon what I do as a reseller. How I take care of my business is what my business is going to put back out to me. I cannot blame the economy. I cannot blame vacations and graduations. I cannot blame eBay. I cannot blame, the president. I cannot blame gas prices. I can only blame myself. I am always going to be the only person that should be held accountable for failures in my own business that I am the only person doing. Okay. So like, you got to get your mind right. And it's a lot easier to be said than done, because even somebody like me who may not necessarily believe in the summer slowdown, I struggle with my own mental state sometimes where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing wrong? And this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I'm not just saying it like it's easy, but somebody needs to tell you, because I got to tell myself half of the damn time, you know? And I think the third thing is, and this will transition into our last topic on Summer Slowdown, is you need to adjust and adapt. I don't know how many times we talked about this. When summer rolls around, you got to balance what you're sourcing and listing, okay, versus needs versus wants, because you can always source and sell what people want, because people are always going to want things, right? But like like Eric said, like about the down jackets, right? I'm not saying that if you see a Canada Goose jacket at the yard sale for $2, don't buy it. I'm not saying that at all, and you can still buy it and still list it, right? But at the same time, you got to be able to be on the lookout for certain items, or, delist and relist certain items that have a relevancy to the season in which you're in. This instance being summer. And so, we're going to give you some stuff that's going to probably, if you haven't already noticed an uptick in these items selling, that's going to be what we're going to be talking about next. But I think those are some things that I do, and I hope that you all can find useful as well, that I use to combat the summer slowdown. I can't forget the air quotes.
Air quote.
Can you repeat the question? I got lost in Tim's sauce. I was like, yeah. Because I don't want to skip ahead. Because
strategy. So what do you do, or what's changed? Like, I mean, if you came in and you're new, and people are saying summer slowdown and panic mode sets in, or maybe you're like buy into the mentality of it.
Okay.
What are you doing? Like, how do you prevent it?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, and kind of, Tim said a lot of this, but yeah, a lot of people, they don't take the time to reflect on what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason for your summer slowdown may be mistakes you made 3 months before, or the past 3 months. You know what I'm saying? In your buying, your selling, and everything. So those are things to take a look at. Like people talk about summer slowdown as if you get 0 sales throughout the entire 3-month summer. It's like, no, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, again. Now here's the thing: if you and I want to take it this way, if you are affected by summer slowdown, if you're in halfway through June and you're like, yo, this isn't working for me, okay? Because I don't know what you sell. I don't know how you do. I don't know what you sell. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yo, this isn't working for me. That's when you start looking for alternatives. Here's the one thing. Instead of going to a garage sale, have a garage sale.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a bar.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If you're not, if you're struggling in your business and you're like, oh man, like things aren't selling, well, guess what? Put those out in front of people. You may have to liquidate some of your stuff. Take that stuff that your old listings. Okay, take your old listing. Man, I've been having this for 2 years. Guess what? In that listing, bam, outside to the yard sale. Okay. So those are things that, I think people don't look for alternatives either. Like, again, it's just not eBay. It's just not Poshmark. There's, like I said, there's garage sales, there's live selling, there's auctions that you could take your stuff to, all those things. Okay. So if you're going to sit there and do the same thing you've been doing over and over, and you are affected by the summer slowdown, you know what I'm saying? That means maybe you aren't doing things right, or you're not pivoting the way you should. Okay. Here's the thing. A lot of people love to, and I see this in the Facebook groups. I see this on certain YouTube channels. People love to complain because misery loves company. Okay. But here's the thing. They were talking recently about man, I wish we could give, like get some feedback from eBay, And I said, well, what feedback do you think you're going to get? Hey, eBay, why is my store so slow? Okay, your pictures are terrible. You're not doing the item specifics. Your description is flimsy. You're not doing promotions. You're not giving the tools that eBay's given you, and then you're still going to complain. I feel like that's the same thing with during the summer is people have this excuse in the back. No, not in the back of their head, in the front of their head. They have that excuse in the front of the head, ready to just be like, oh, it's slow. Summer slowdown. That's why, and they're not doing anything going, well, you know what? I was doing 10 listings a day. Maybe bump it up to 15, maybe maybe instead of, listing jackets. Cause guess what? I'm not listing jackets right now. I have so many jackets I could be listing right now. I'm not listing jackets, but it's like, take a look at your business and start to pivot. See if there's something out there. Now, you're not going to be able to tell the first few days, but take that opportunity and look for other things that you could be doing. Like I said, the worst thing you could do, if your sales are slow, you ain't got no money, last thing you should be doing is garage selling. The last thing you should be doing garage selling. And guess what? You are punished now because you didn't do what you were supposed to before the summer. Now you want to go out and play with your friends? No. You sit at home and you do those listings.
Okay already. No. We all do learn along the way, and things change. I mean, to be honest, like you think about things that were so good before that now aren't any good, and things constantly change. So it is important to grow in information and what you're looking for, what you're selling. Guys, honestly, just being a sponge, man, and learning about the stuff that you hear about. I can tell you because we do live stream a lot. We do hear from other resellers. I pick with other resellers. I see things that are moving. And I think, honestly, most of us at the root of things is, I think we can be stubborn about things, to be honest. Like, hey, this is all I like, and this is all I'm going to pick. And I was like, dude, imagine if you were stuck in Beanie Baby VHS land because you're like, look, in the 90s, these things were like, dude, you're going to have a very poor business model. When you're buying things at garage sale for $3 and selling them for $4, like you're going to have a problem. So, I mean, I think always learning and not afraid to try things. Like for me, the couple things that I've done kind of throughout, but now I'm a little wiser about how I do things. But don't be afraid to take a risk, because there's a balance, right? You can take a risk on something, a calculated risk, right? Like I know enough to be dangerous in this. I'm going to take a risk, and I'm definitely not going to lose money, but it may be really good. And then the other side of that is, don't be stuck in, this is all I'm going to do. This is all I'm going to pick up. And if I can't find that, if I can't sell that, if I can't, then that's all I'm going to do. Because we all kind of get in that mentality at times. So like, okay, this is how I've always done it. I'm going to continue to do it this way. It's like, no, man, the world is changing, bro. I mean, things are changing constantly. Like we talk about AI backgrounds. We talk about some of the stuff. I mean, like, dude, if you'd have came to any of us 3 years ago and said, you know what, you should put no, like it's white background and it's got to be clear and that's what it is, and I'm done with it. I'm not gonna even discuss it or hear anything differently. Like if you get stuck in your way, and then maybe you're stuck in the way of, oh, it's just summer slowdown, that's the reason for all this. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors, and you can only, like I said before, you can only control what you can control. But guess what? You can control the things you can control. So that gives you an option to be able to, hey, let me change this. Let me try this. We're going to jump into the last section of this, and we're going to talk about some of the items, some of the categories that we would say, hey, this is a good opportunity for you to be able to sell some things in the summertime. But before we do that, we do want to give a huge shout out to our channel members. So we're gonna go ahead and run those guys out, and we'll get some.
I'm gonna be back on my normal setup next week, so it'll sound better when I do this to all the members who feel like they're not getting the full announcer value that you are donating for. I apologize. Big shout out to our channel members: AZ Katsu, Simply Shenanigan Shanna, Diane Matthews, our very own Blood, Sweat, and Cell, Trash Cat Rescue, New England, Betty Boo, Joe Deals, Old School Picker, Vintage Sport Flips, Charities, Terrific Finds, Kathleen the Fernway Flipper, Ohio Pickers, Annette and Frank, Ruby Retro, Absolute Finds, Des Hart, Heather Pepper, James Steinbreaker, Old Pass, High Plains Flipper, Walter Tilton, Black Sheep Society, Death Pile Picker, Mark Rowland, Tracer Jade Trading, Aaron Vaughn, Central Iowa Picker, Wiggle 9, Buck Mountain Barn, Pinjo Picker, Trash to Cash Podcast.
Hey,
Nice.
thank you all you guys here supporting us via channel membership. We do appreciate you so much, and thank you guys for your support. If you're not doing that and you want to say, hey, how can I help support RIN? You can join the little button down below. Join, become a member, and you too can hear the call next week on the starting lineup. And then back to the old mic setup. So, hey, we do appreciate y'all so much. Look, we want to jump into this last section and talk about, guys, what are some things like when you're preparing to sell in the summertime? I know, there is a contrast, right? There's some items that we're looking to get listed when spring comes because we're like, hey, we know these are some things that maybe would definitely get moving. And so we kind of want to jump into that. We haven't done one of these in a while, but we're going to say, hey, what's trending for the summer? We'll just start with Mr. Trendy himself, Tigger.
You had to watch the Tuesday show. I made a Winnie the Pooh appearance as Tigger. Listen, we listen. These sell during the summer. Shirts sell during the summer. Shorts, man. I mean, just think about what you're wearing. You know what I'm saying? Listen. Sometimes you can find nylon shorts, like the golf shorts. And I'm telling you, pick those up. Okay? Lock those up. Dude, guy shorts, man, if you find like 4 or 5 pairs of like all the same brand and all the same size at your thrift store, pick them all up and lot them up. I have so many I have so many great examples of just lotting things up and boom, it's sold. So instead of selling, 1 pair of shorts, I sold 5 pairs of shorts. Or instead of 1 pair of pants, 5 pairs of pants. So, maybe start looking at it like that too. But again, now I will push back a little bit on about listing certain stuff during the summer because guess what? It is still cold in certain areas.
Yeah.
Okay. And even though we are in the summer in the northern hemisphere, okay, here's a little geography lesson. Since the Earth's axis is tilted at a 23.5 degree angle, that creates the rotation around the sun, the northern hemisphere, for these few months are in the direct sunlight to the sun. That means there's another part of the world. Oh wait, I nerded out there for a second. That means the other part of the world isn't in summer, and they are in winter. Okay, so make sure you have international shipping on if you do want to sell some jackets during the summer. So, but like I said, I think it's about listing and just getting good. Tim said it earlier, and I see I see so many people. I'm guilty of it. OBX is guilty of it. Tim's guilty of it. Leroy's guilty of it. About selling crappy items. You pick up an item and you're like, man. You get home and you're like, man, I have this. Oh, I have this. Man, this is gonna sell. And you take the picture and you do the listing, and this ain't selling. Okay, that ain't selling. It might be your price, it might be your picture, but it ain't selling. Okay. The thing about that is, it's like we have bad listings. Okay, so to counteract our bad listings, you just need to do more listings. Okay, and the thing is, need versus wants versus, like, man, I tell you what, I see a lot of eBay stores, and this is where I said, like, we are all guilty of it, but I see a lot of eBay stores about people complaining, because I will go in, and if I see someone in chat, I'll be like, hey, put up your eBay store. Let me go take a look. Or I might just go find it without even asking them. And more than not, they have crappy listings. Okay? So I'm gonna say a fake percentage. 75% of the time, if your item isn't selling, it's because you have a crappy listing or crap that people don't want. Okay?
Need.
Huh?
Or need.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the thing about it is, it's not a joke, but your 1986 instructional ski video on VHS that you have listed for $12.99. I'm gonna get loud. Who's looking for that? No one's looking for that. Why'd you list that? That's what I want to tell them right in their face. Why'd you list that? Nobody's looking for that. Throw that in the trash. Okay. So is that
Leroy back? I thought Leroy was back for a second.
The thing is, list what people like are buying and wanting. You know what I'm saying? That VHS, all your VHSs that you bought that nobody wanted, that's where you during your summer slowdown, throw those in the garage sale in a free pile and let them go. Okay? So I'm just saying, take a look at your items, because I see just a lot of stores that are just like, yo, you straight up have a junk store. You know what I'm saying? Hey, here's 3 broken yo-yos for $9.99. What? These are things I see. These are things that I see, and it's just like, so maybe during the summer, instead of going sourcing and getting all excited about the garage sales, you didn't put the work in. Maybe you stay home and put the work in and do a little bit more research on the things that you are buying. Okay, because again, to have a big junk store and then complain to me, it ain't nothing selling. Well,
but I have 1,000
items and nothing selling. You have 1,000 items of just pure stuff that nobody's searching for. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I have 20 winking baby bumper stickers. Like, what? Who's searching for that? Nobody's searching for that. So it's like one of those things where it's like, find what you're buying and research what you're buying, and get good quality listings. I can't explain that enough. I can't explain that enough. Done. My rant's over.
Wait, hold on a second.
You're probably gonna clip my red face.
I thought Leroy was back for a second, man. You started screaming. I was like, oh my gosh, Leroy popped in. I didn't even know.
But what I'm saying is, it's just.
The they represent me. I will be represented by that rant. The 1986 ski instruction video. I don't.
I don't know, man. That might be vintage, bro. Like that.
Right, just because something's vintage doesn't mean it's worth anything. You know what I'm saying?
That-
We found out a lot of that.
Hey,
That
it says
was-
vintage
that-
on the tag, bro. It says it right on the tag.
That is one of my biggest learning curve come arounds. When I realized that just because something is vintage doesn't mean it's worth money, that changed my life. That is a very important thing to say. All jokes aside, that is very important. But to get a little bit specific, I will tell you that I have already noticed an uptick in hats. We all know that the hat market is not, $1,000 hat now is probably, let me rephrase that. $100 hat during the pandemic is probably a $60 hat now, right? But there's still
25.
tons of good value
25.
in hats, right? And I think that, if you guys are selling hats and you're looking for an opportunity to sell some hats, we're going to be doing a live hat sale on the One Stop Shop. If you guys are not already members of the One Stop Shop, it is our very own buying and selling marketplace and community. So if you're interested in selling some hats, or you would like to be a live seller and live sell some hats, we're going to be doing a live hat raid train coming up. So make sure you guys are following us on Instagram, the YouTube community tab as well, and become a member of the One Stop Shop, and you can have an opportunity to sell some hats live with Cernock, Eric, and myself, amongst others. But I have already seen an uptick in hats being sold. Golf clubs, I have 3 golf clubs that need to be shipped out by Thursday. That's another uptick right there. Cernock mentioned shorts. I actually sourced a lot of shorts when I was in California. I picked up some vintage Lakers shorts. I picked up some Oregon State basketball shorts. I picked up a bathing suit or board shorts. A company that I wasn't familiar with, but the design was super sick, and I looked it up, and they were selling for like $35. Have you guys ever heard of Party People? Party People?
Is there like a logo with like 2 people on it?
I don't know what the logo is. It just said Party People, but like this one had like a dinosaur holding a beer. So yeah, I bought those. I'll wait to see the jokes in the comments section when the video comes out. But yeah, board shorts. Think about, like, a lot of people don't realize sunglasses. You can find expensive sunglasses at yard sales. I know Eric. Look at that guy. Too cool for school. I mean, you found some killer Ray-Bans at a yard sale in the past couple of months, right?
Yeah. I've sold multiple times. Have I found Ray-Bans? Even the cases sell.
This is the thing too. Okay, let's say you are a hardcore believer in it's the economy. That's summer slowdown in the economy. Say you're a hardcore believer in that, right? If the economy is really bad and somebody can't spend $300 on a pair of Ray-Bans, where are they going to go? They're going to go to eBay and try and buy a used pair for $150, right? So that mentality is already backfiring on you. The eBay is the one place, or not even just eBay, Mercari, One Stop Shop, Etsy, Poshmark. People are going to these places to buy things because they're cheaper than buying them full retail value. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like you should be booming if the economy is busting, right? So just another example right there. But anything beach related, because you got to think about like this too. Some people can only go to the beach during some time of the year, right? So you might see an uptick in those items during the summer, but those items can also sell year round because there's people that go to the beach year round. And like Professor Cernock told us earlier, when it's winter here, it's going to be somewhere else. So, like those sort of items you can focus on, but not worry about if they don't sell now. How am I going to sell them in the ultimate selling period of Q4? Well, you can, okay? So, those are some things that you should look out for too. Golf stuff. Anything outdoor activity related. Anything outdoor activity related. It doesn't just have to be beach. People go on hikes. People are going camping. You know, people are running, bicycling. Bicycling jerseys are hot. Okay. And you could find those really cheap generally, you know, because not a lot of people are out there like trying to source bicycling jerseys. I've had a great success with every single bicycling jersey that I've ever sold, right? I've ever sourced. I've sold them. I've sold them anywhere between $20 and $100. So like it's a good range. They're easy to store, easy to ship. You know, like just you have to start thinking about stuff like that. Like Cernak, the point that Cernak made when he said, "What are you wearing right now?" Right? Think about that. What are you using right now? Right? Like these are the sort of things that you have to start thinking, using your brain. It's okay to use your brain. Okay. Use your own brain. You don't have to just don't go on YouTube and be like, okay, what are they telling me to sell now? Right?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You have to think. I always tell this about people. People always ask me about things that I've gotten into and stuff, right? And a lot of it is before I get into something, I want to experience it on both sides. Before I was selling on Whatnot 3-4 years ago, I was buying on Whatnot, right? Selling on District. I remember some of all the different marketplaces I buy in those marketplaces. I want you need to use that sort of theory in your selling. So sell what you're buying, sell what you're using, sell what you're wearing. You know, like those are things that's a method that you can use as a reseller in the summer slowdown. But yeah, those are the things that are probably going to be searched. Sternog mentioned this, and we were laughing, but it's true, right? What do you use? Google. You can look and see what people are searching on Google. What the graphs will show you what people are searching on Google. Use that to your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think about, you know, trending right now.
All right, look, I'm about to share something with you guys that is absolutely free. Absolutely free. You have access to it already. Now,
know exactly what you're going to show.
So it's here, it's available, and it comes to you by the person that they always say eBay doesn't do anything for me. It's not helping out the seller. It's not, they're against me. They're the one company in the world that does not like to make money. They want you to not succeed as a seller. They want you to absolutely not sell anything because I know they make money when you sell something. And why would they want to do that? So here's a tool that's available to you guys. I'm going to add it to the stage, pop it in right now. If you have a seller dashboard, which we all do, right? You go to this tab, it says research. Now, why in the world would you want to research? Because you want to find out what's selling. This is saved categories for me, meaning that I've sold these items before in these categories. But look at this right here, this button. It says top categories. Boom.
Oh, man.
Top categories. Now look at this. We can sort by the top opportunities first. Or look, you can search listing ratio, meaning that, hey, there's probably not enough of these, or there's probably too much of them. Here, let's look at the top categories. Now, obviously, we know video games is something everybody knows, right? 16.95% sell-through rate on video games. There you go. That's why people ask about them. Cell phone, smartphone, 16%. Look at some of these. Vinyl records is making a comeback at a strong 3% sell-through. But look, here's what I'm going to show you, though. Even though it's 3%, look at the number of sales. Search volume 3,760,000, right? Out of the active listings. So now you can click on it, the category itself. Boom. Where are we going? We're going right here. We're looking at it. We're looking at the sell-through. It talks about the record size, right? you can dig down even more deeper to see what's the highest selling item, transactions. You can change it. So apparently, if you have the recording of Romeo and Juliet, sells for $27.22 average, over $6,000 in sales the last 30 days on Romeo and Juliet. So you can go as deep as you want in this, or as generic as you want, and find categories that sell more and more. What I like to do is to look at this search volume number, because the higher the search volume is, hey, the more people are looking for it, right? Look at this t-shirt action. Now, we've deep dove into this before. We all like t-shirts. We sell these t-shirts. Look, you know how Cernak always tells you size matters when it comes to t-shirts? Extra large.
Dude, if you would have said, give me a basic generic t-shirt size and color, I'd been like XL black. Like,
boom.
Done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
look at the impressions. 323 million impressions on a black. So what's the top listing? Whoa. Apparently, dude, whoever's selling this Adidas Men Grind polo shirt is $18 at a time. They're crushing it. 1,900 transactions. And that's just a generic Adidas polo. Wait, people don't buy this stuff, do they? Is it summertime? People, why would you want a short sleeve polo? Who would want it? Yeah, for me, when I look at this stuff, I was like, man, these are some things that, like, who has access to that? All of us. if you really want to look in and do some dives, and it's like, hey, what's some items I should be looking for? Dude, every category on eBay, you can look and see how many of these things are selling. Like Tim mentioned golf clubs earlier. I know myself and Ivan from District, we've done some diving into golf clubs. Golf category on eBay is like 26 million every 30 days. Insane. It's like, so when you look at items and you're like, man, I don't know about those items. Like, it may take 15 minutes, learn 3 items that you can say, hey, I can be on the lookout for this. And I know this is the average it's going to sell for. And I know what it is. And I know the category. Yeah. Hey, now you know. If you're out looking for t-shirts, black, extra large, the most searched items on eBay. It's kind of crazy when you look at that stuff.
Insane.
Sorry, okay. You already knew it. It gets deeper on that. I encourage you to take a few minutes and go in the back room and look at that stuff, because, man, there's all kinds of things where you can they'll actually even help you with the keywords that they're searching for. That's something it's actually fairly new on Terapeak. But the other thing I would tell you, and this is just a little plug for something that Tim uses, guys, if you're looking for vintage antique items, Worthpoint is a good place to go and see what things are actually worth, what things are selling for. And a lot of times they have some further back history than a lot of the others. Tim,
and you can use it without. It's not just for vintage and antiques. Anything that is sold on eBay or any auction houses that are linked with Worthpoint, you can find it, because I think a lot of times too is when you find that rare item, you can't find a comp. Worthpoint is very good for that, and there's a lot of resource material on there as well, books and maker's marks, and you can do it with silver and all types of different stuff. So it's really helpful.
Catch the description in the video. There's a discount code for you for Worthpoint. Guys, this is about wrapping Summer Slowdown, the myth, there may be a hint of truth to it. But, for us, one of the things I did want to mention just briefly is I know there are some of you guys that lives in the parts of the country to where summer is your sourcing time, and you do have to make a pile and kind of squirrel away some nuts for the winter. I would tell you guys just another great resource. I know Tim has plugged it a couple of times, but One Stop Shop, guys, we're about some wholesale. We are available to give you some deals on some items. If you're running a little light on the sourcing end, or you're like, hey, I just don't know what to pick up, guys, if you missed Tuesday, Cernak ran like 7 things. There's still 2 in the store in there. There's 2 in the store.
Steals, absolute steals.
All of us have some stuff in the wholesale thing over there too. Come and check it out. Or honestly, here's another thing. If you're in search of, if you go to One Stop Shop, there's a thing that says in search of. If you put in there, I'm looking for, dude, I can tell you, I'm one of those people. I love to pick. I love to find stuff. And I love to find people that I can say, hey, I found this for you.
Yeah.
Just give me a little finder fee action, and I'll pass it right on over to you. I had a guy come this past week to get some T-shirts from me that I was like, you know what? Could I sell them for more? Absolutely. But I've got more. I can get more. Like, it's not a problem.
Right.
So feel free to reach out to us if you're looking to get some wholesale deals. Hey, we do thank you guys for being here. As always, we appreciate it so much, your support and coming by on Tuesdays. We do listing and load from 9 a.m. to 12. Don't forget to be on the lookout for the One Stop Shop Hat Raid Train coming June 6th. June 6th. You won't want to miss that. I guarantee you there will be some hat heat coming your way, and probably some wholesale deals available as well. So best of both worlds. If you want to apply to sell, feel free to do that as well. I'm going to pass it around. Let's go, Cernak.
So, I just let Eric know hats don't sell. Okay, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
If you ever see me in the comment section and someone else's comments and they talk about hats, I just write hats don't sell. Just as it's an ongoing joke. Hey, listen. I hope y'all have learned something today. I'm talking to the viewers. Hope you learned something today. Hope you take this information that we give you, because again, you know, I'm not the dude that's going to be like, the sky is falling. I hate those people that do that. Okay. I literally despise those people that do that. I want you to get that good information so you can be like, hey, you know what? This is my business. I'm running it. I'm in the show. I'm in the show. Okay. I'm in the lead. Okay. This is mine. Okay. So take this information, dude, and let's have a great summer. Let's have a great summer. Let's sell a bunch of stuff. Let's find a bunch of stuff, and let's have fun doing it.
Perfect. All right, Tim, take us away.
Yeah, listen. I want to make sure that don't let the negative Nancy's get you down. Okay, it's all in here. Sometimes you just gotta take a step back and just like that. Okay, and you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Listen, we all have rough days. I'm usually a 4 out of 7 days of the week are rough for me, you know. So I find a way to make the other 3 work. So just don't worry so much about the day-to-day negativity. Think about the day-to-day positivity. Okay, what went right instead of what went wrong. And when you look at what went wrong, what can you do to make it go right? That's where we're at today, ladies and gentlemen. There's no summer slowdown in the RIM. It's time to speed up. Put your pedal to the metal and go to the next gear. We appreciate all the love and all support. Most importantly, don't forget to tell a friend about RIN, Reseller Information Network. Boo boo, boo boo boo, boo boo.